Welcome to Lesson 6 for Audit Class Number 3. This week we cover two subjects. In Lesson 5, Review for the Non-Public Company and Compilation for the Non-Public Company. The material covers pages 55 to 59 of the text. The subject begins with a description and purpose of the review engagement. It is essentially a series of procedures used to determine that the financial statements are in conformity with generally accepted accounting practices. Public and non-public companies are compared and contrasted in Table Number 1. We note that the PCAOB standards are not applied to non-public companies, and that compilation, which we will cover in the next part of this video, is not being applied to public companies, only to non-public. The procedures that we use are familiar to you already. The book lists 7 items that need to be addressed. Number 1, the engagement is by written letter only. Number 2, one must obtain a general understanding of the company and its books. Number 3, obtain an understanding of the industry standards and accounting practices widely used in that industry. Number 4 is a review of the financial statements to assure they are free of material errors. Number 5, ask questions of personnel about accounting practices, including the treatment of subsequent events, and about policies adopted at meetings like board meetings, and so on. Litigation matters are not covered here. Is a small footnote mentions this. Item 6, investigate any unusual items. And item 7, obtain a letter from management attesting to the accuracy of the statements. A sample independent review report is presented on the next page. Note that the format is similar to other audit reports. A second table then contrasts the modified audit report with the modified review report. Note the differences and similarities. Compilation is next, and is for the non-public company, beginning on page 57. We open by listing various procedures that are performed on this report. There are 4 items listed, all of them very similar to those used in the review report. The next part is a sample report letter, again similar to the review report studied earlier. Item C, third item, covers implicit representations. If an audit team lacks independence, a statement to that effect must be added at the end of the report. This is because it's implied that there is independence. If not, it should be so noted. A sample is given to you on how to do that. The second, it's actually just sample wording. A second item covers a report that omits substantially all disclosures. This is proper under certain circumstances, and the format sample is shown on the bottom of the page. Part D covers other reporting modifications. These include things like departures from GAAP, financial statements dealing with the OCBOA, and lack of comparability of financials and figures. The final page, page 59, presents all of the above information in table format and provides a very handy way of reviewing the material for testing later on. The discussion questions and learning objectives for Lesson 5 all deal with adverse opinions and or modifications to the various reports. Discussion questions offer the opportunity to review material that was covered in earlier discussions. In particular, the discussion questions, number 1, situations in which the auditor expresses an adverse opinion. What are those? How do they occur? What's the proper response? Number 2, discussing the format and contents of modified audit reports. What are the modifications? And we've covered this not only in this lesson but in the previous. Number 3, conditions the auditor in which the auditor should express a disclaimer on the financial statement. There are several of those that we can discuss here. And finally, number 4, the difference between adverse opinion and other opinions. Lesson 6 to be taken up shortly, and note that we're in the second half of the material now. Congratulations. Lesson 6 deals with statistical sampling methods, and it is covered in chapters 15, 16, and 17. That'll be our discussion that we'll take up next week. Looking forward to seeing you all in class. Have a great weekend.